Good evening. Welcome back to Firearms and Fellowship. We are here for the Monday night firearms chat, and I'm super excited because we got two fantastic guests on this evening. We got Mike Baker from Texas Gun Collectors Association and George McAllister from Remington Society of America. How we doing, fellas?
We're
Doing great.
Doing good.
Good deal. Mike, I'm excited to chat with you tonight because you guys have a show coming up. You want to tell people a little bit about what is coming?
Absolutely. This will be our spring show, and 2025 is our 75th year as a club. So we're going to try to really knock the ball out of the park. We're going to have a parade of factory engraved Colts. I don't know what all is going to be there yet, but I can guarantee you there will be some wonderful, wonderful, one of a kind pieces. It's our shows are always a blast. We have, for the members, we have a free luncheon on Friday for table holders. We have a ladies' luncheon for the wives of the the men that are there with their tables and stuff. It grows every year. I think we had somewhere around 30 women in the last ladies' luncheon, and we have our auction after the show. We have a banquet on Saturday night. It's like a big family affair. We really have a great time, and I would say there's probably going to be between 250, 300 tables. But
Wow.
the nice thing about it is it's all collectible items. We do CNR, guns, no black guns. We don't have any kind of beef jerky or sequin purses, anything that way. It's all about the guns.
Well, this will be my first year attending, and I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, just looking at these pictures, some of the firearms that are laid out. George, you're going to be there,
Yes,
and you've been multiple times, and you have just absolutely raved about this show. You want to talk to people a little bit about your experience with it?
I don't think you can be made to feel any more welcome than you can at a TGCA show. Those guys just bend over backwards. Not only you, but your wife, your family. It's just a first class, well run, welcoming community. We're really happy to be members of the TGCA. We're Remington guys, and they welcome us in there. We're not Colt guys, but they still put up with us, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and TGCA is not just for people from Texas. You guys have members from every state in the union, and top-notch collectors too.
We actually do. We even have a few in Canada, Australia, Japan, and I think Norway. So we get around.
Yeah. And Mike, you're the editor of the magazine. You guys have a biannual magazine. You just released your latest one. And
That's correct.
Pull that up because look who happens to be on the front page.
Yeah.
Gun collector George McAllister won the Dr. James Brown-eoples Choice Award for your Indian Police, Remington Indian Police revolver.
Yes.
Congratulations, George. And Mike, that cover is just absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much. The logo that you see there is our 75th anniversary logo, and it will only be on this spring magazine and our fall magazine. And then in 2026, we'll go back to our standard logo on the magazine. So just a little something special for the 75th year. This is also a 112-page magazine. where our normal one is 80 pages.
Wow. Yeah, Georgia, congratulations on that. For people who aren't familiar with what you won that award for, you want to kind of give us a quick rundown of that revolver?
Yes, it's an 1875 Remington that was issued to the Pine Ridge Indian Police in the Dakotas in about 1883. It's just a wonderful gun. I chased it for 15 years before I was able to get it, and it's just really gratifying though to have it recognized and on the cover. We really appreciate the TGCA for giving us an opportunity to have it there and to have it recognized. And it's probably the favorite piece that I have in my collection. I don't know if I'll ever do any better than that. I can't imagine that I would. It's really historic. It's a nice gun.
It's a neat pistol and a neat story.
Yeah.
So, are you gonna bring that down to Texas
this time?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna bring some Remingtons. You gonna make me tell on myself. Here we go. I'm gonna bring a Nimsky engraved 51 Colt.
Oh, really?
Oh, you got something in the parade of Colts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I turned in the paperwork, so I guess I'm gonna be there.
There you go. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool. Look forward to seeing that. Let me pull up the TGCA website for people, and we'll show them real quick. Super easy to join. Just go over to members and annual membership. And you want to break down the cost of it for them, Mike? Was it $60 a year?
$60 a year. That includes free entry to the shows. It includes the ability to get a table, and because you can't have a table at our shows unless you're a member.
Yeah.
The Fine and Antique Arms Annual has come out this year, just recently. It is a $70 book, and with membership, you get that book for free.
Wow.
So it is a no-brainer. And
that book is gorgeous. The pictures in there. It's Rock Island takes the pictures, right?
They did about 98% of the pictures in the book. Some of the owners of the guns preferred to take their own pictures, but Rock Island just did such a knockout job. I tell you, they were very instrumental in helping us put this book together.
Yeah, they if anybody's familiar with Rock Island's work, they do some really good photography.
Well, I'll tell you another benefit of membership while we're talking about Rock Island. They have offered to TGCA members that if any TGCA member that wants to come to one of Rock Island's premier shows in Bedford, Texas, premier auctions, they will furnish free hotel rooms for up to 3 nights. And if you come on Thursday night, they have a banquet for the club. All at no charge. So that is a wonderful benefit of being a member.
Yeah, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I can see why people all over the U.S. want to be part of Texas Gun Collectors. And so, yeah, looking forward to going down to that show, and we'll get some video while we're down there and talk to some
wonderful
people and share that when we get back. So, yeah, awesome stuff. Well, George, you had a little Remington project that you picked up you picked it up in Tulsa at Wanamaker's.
In Tulsa, yeah, a week or two ago, yeah.
Well, tell us what it is. I'll pull up some pictures for you.
It's a little Remington 4440 lightweight baby carbine. They made them.
Oh.
Yeah, they made them from about the early 1890s to about 1900. They made them in blue with case, or they made them in nickel. This is a nickel one. It was it was in a little bit rough shape, but it's cleaned up. It's cleaned up pretty nice. Good bore in it. The action's fine. The wood was good. It was just losing a little bit of the nickel, but it's cleaned up pretty good. They're really nice guns. They made about 5,000 of them, and most of them went to South America. This one may have gone to South America. I don't know. There's not a record, but the serial number on it is 292. So it was a fairly early gun, and that makes me believe most of the early guns probably went to South America. So that one probably went and came back. Just real neat, little small, lightweight carbines, and they're in 4440. So, yeah.
Are you bringing that one to the show?
I can. I hadn't thought about it. Yeah, I can. I may. I probably will. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised I didn't see you in Tulsa when you were getting it.
Yeah, I missed you. I saw Murray, but I didn't see you. But yeah,
probably out walking around.
That place is so big, you could walk right by each other and not
know. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It is wild. Yeah, there's a little flip up.
It's got a little flip up sight.
That's nice.
They're really cool little guns. I don't mind having it at all. It's and since I have the other one, I have a pair now. So that's
would that side have been original to it?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Here's the side. Yeah, it just needed a little bit of attention, didn't it?
Yeah, it just needed some attention. You try not to do too much, but you got to do something. I got most all that flaking nickel off of it, and then just cleaned it up and polished it just a little and waxed it to try to make it look better. And it came out good. It looks good. It probably looks better from 5 feet than it does from 2 feet, but
yeah,
that's okay.
I'll pull up a couple pictures of it finished. But you and I were talking about this briefly this morning. You know, sometimes that's kind of a tough thing to decide. Do you want to mess around with it? Do you want to clean it up? You know, then there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Sure is.
You know, the rarity of it, just a whole bunch of things, and you can kind of get into some arguments over that about what should be cleaned up and what shouldn't, what should be restored, what should be and what is conservation versus restoration. What do you think, Mike? Where do you kind of fall on that spectrum?
I have to, there's people that are going to vehemently disagree with me, but I am not a fan of restorations. I think when you find one, even if it's in really rough condition, that's just part of its history. Unless you've got something that's got a lot of sentimental value that you want to see it put back original and you're going to keep it, I just do not. I don't see the financially. I don't see the how that works. And then once it's been restored, it's just a restored gun. It's never going to be original again,
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I mean, I've had rifles that they weren't necessarily really collectible, but I was going to keep it and I wanted to make it nice. And so that's a situation where I've done basically a full restoration on one.
Well, I think where it's a gun you're going to use, that's quite a bit different than a collectible type gun. And on the collectibles, if they've got a busted screw head, I see no problems with replacing a screw or, putting a spring in it or whatever. But as far as refinishing it, I'm not a fan.
Well, part of it is, what does a firearm owner do to maintain their firearm? So you could look at one and say, well, does this just have poor maintenance? Do we need to catch up the maintenance on it? I know Mark Novak on his channel, he talks about that all the time, conserving guns and you know, a lot of, especially military weapons, they would have gone back to the armorer and they would have done a bunch of stuff.
Right.
They might have reblued them, you know. Yeah, it's always an interesting conversation to have because everybody
Oh,
does.
absolutely. You know, but typically when the military ones were redone at the arsenal, they've got arsenal marks on them.
Mm,
And so that again is part of their history, you know. And these new ones that are coming out, the ones that the CMP is releasing, the 1911s.
Yeah.
You know, they come with all the paperwork of where they went and, you know, where they came from and all that kind of stuff. So that makes it, even though it's been refinished, it's still technically original because it was done by the military.
What are they charging for those?
When I got mine, there was 3 grades. The bottom grade, I believe, was 900, and then the next was 1,000, and the next one was 1,100.
Okay.
And so I got the 1,100 one. But what's kind of funny, I don't think mine was. I'm not sure mine was ever issued, but it's got a Ithaca frame. It's got a Colt slide. And so, you know, that was done at the armory because when they disassembled them and cleaned them and put them back together, they just threw all the slides in one bucket and they threw all the frames in another bucket, and whatever they grabbed out is what went together, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've seen some really interesting pieces come out of the lower, I forget what grade, the field grade, maybe they called it, but the $900 ones, just because of the, you know, some of the work that was done on them and I don't know, some of those are pretty interesting guns.
Yeah.
That's kind of been true throughout history, hadn't it? I mean, they did the same thing with artillery Colts. They took them apart, cut the barrels, and then mixed up the numbers and put them back together.
Exactly.
Yeah. George, what'd you do to the stock on that Remington?
I wiped that stock down with a little bit of just mild soapy water and a little bit of mineral spirits, and then I put a little brie wax on it.
Yeah. A little bit of elbow grease.
A little bit of elbow grease.
Probably a lot of elbow grease.
Yeah, it was. I really like brie wax in a lot of instances. It's pigmented wax. It's carnauba wax. It goes on good. It dries hard, and it usually makes an old stock look pretty good. And you can get it in a variety of colors. I like the real light brown. It doesn't much.
That darkened it up a little bit.
It looks pretty good. It was a pretty dark piece of wood to start with. The forearm had a little figure in it. It's a pretty nice piece of wood.
Yeah, but I don't really consider that refinishing or restoring. I mean, you're preserving the wood.
That's it.
And getting all the dirt and the grease off of it.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that. This wood's got dents and dings in it, not real bad, and no splits, but it was dirty. It was dirty, a lot of hand oil in it and stuff like that. So,
sure.
But it cleaned.
Yeah, that's just kind of maintenance on an oiled stock like that.
And it doesn't fingerprint or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like an oil finish. They're easy to repair. You know, you get a dent in it, you can put some water on it and get that dent to draw out, and put some more oil on it and go down the road. So we got a couple people in the chat room tonight. Brett Martinez, thanks for joining us. We're not all in Texas, but we're all down here in the South. We're pretty close. So,
interesting little thing about these carbines. I asked these questions years ago when I got my little blue and case hardened one. It's a pretty nice gun. I found out they had nickel ones, and I asked why, and I was told a lot of the nickels were used in prisons and guard services and things like that. because they were more visible. I don't know if
Oh.
that's true or not, but that probably makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I know for the Super 38s, a lot of the nickels, the pre-war nickels, they went to the Philippines,
Okay.
and the nickel there was for protection in the salt air and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. Well, that's neat, George. I think it turned out good.
I'm pleased with it. They're nice little guns. They're almost cute. If a gun can be cute, these are cute. So
What caliber did you say that was in?
it's a 4440, 44 WCF.
Okay.
Good old cowboy caliber.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I've been taking a look at that 1911 there. That's the second one from the top on the right. And I sent you guys some pictures of it because it has some different stampings on it. Best I can tell, this came from 1918, and I think that's what you figured too, right, Mike?
Yes. Early part of 1918.
Yeah. And one of the differences is the Dancing Colt was on the back side of the slide versus they moved it in between.
That's correct. It would have been right there in that blank spot between the 1913 and the Hartford.
Yeah. Now there's an H up at the top here, and you said that's one of the inspector's marks.
One of the Colt inspectors, Hossamer.
Costumer.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, is that an L or a 7?
I believe that's a 7. Some of those markings, they're just either assembly marks or they don't mean a whole lot. Sometimes numbers were used for inspectors. Sometimes letters were used. So a lot of times you're not real sure, what they mean, but
Yeah. And this one's double stamped A. Wonder if that could have meant that it had some work done on it at some point.
yeah, hard to say. Usually the armories, they stamped them on the frame, either up above the trigger guard or.
Yeah, this is the one that was interesting. This was attributed to Lieutenant Colonel James Gibbert.
Gilbert, right?
I think I read it was Gibbert, Gibert. There was a Gilbert as well around the same time, I believe. But you may know better than I do. I'm reading off.
Well, I believe it's J.M. Gilbert, Gilbert.
Okay.
And anyway, he was an inspector for Colt.
And they only used that stamp for I guess 4 months, January through May, and then they changed to an eagle, is what I read. So
right. Yeah, most of the 1918s that you see will have an eagle's head with a number underneath it, like I forget what the numbers are. S. Usually it's like a S78 or something that way.
Okay.
Is that the final inspector mark, Mike? Is that the final? That's the final mark.
Yes, and it's stamped after finish.
Okay.
And you were saying that the 1918s had 2 different types of finish.
Correct. The early ones like yours were more of a polished blue, and then about mid 1918, they went to what they called a brushed blue, which was a rougher finish. And as it began to kind of wear, it actually resembled being parkerized more than blued.
Okay. And weren't there some that were like a black finish?
Well, yes, the Black Armies. That
Mhm.
was after the brushed blue. Then they had what they call they tried a different method, and it really didn't work. So most of the Black Army Colts that you see, the finish has really flaked off of them, and they're if you find one in really nice condition, it's either been refinished or you've really found something rare. So
Yeah. And you said this was a high standard barrel?
yes, that's a high standard barrel. They're pretty common in the military guns as replacement barrels. Uh, but Remington, I mean not yes, Remington Rand and Ithaca both used high standard barrels. In other words, they didn't manufacture their own barrels. They used the high standards.
I'll tell you what, for a gun that is 107 years old now,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is tight as a brand new one.
Oh yeah.
You know,
It's
if you had
amazing how
closed,
well some of those old guns shoot. You just you have to be cognizant of metal fatigue and different things. The metal was not the quality, and you certainly don't want to shoot any kind of plus P ammo or anything that way in the old guns.
yeah,
Not that Probably not that it would hurt you, but just that you might damage the gun, crack the frame, or something else.
yeah. Well, I always think about that when I'm shooting my Colt 1902, because
Sure.
there's a little piece of metal about that big standing between you and the slide coming straight back at you. I watched a
Kind of
guy
like
on
a Winchester Model 97 shotgun, huh?
yeah, yeah. I watched
Yeah.
the guy shoot some 38 Super out of his 1902, and yeah, it broke
Woo.
it. It broke it.
Yeah, I imagine.
You gotta be careful. A lot of people don't know that 32 ACP is different from 38 Super. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
the case
quite
dimensions are
quite a
exactly
difference.
the same, but there's definitely a different powder charge in that Super.
Right. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, that's a high pressure cartridge, 38 Super.
and 38 ACP is getting harder and harder to come by.
Right.
I was able to buy some reloads at Tulsa the past, well, not this year, but the 2 years prior. But I haven't seen any factory loads of it.
Right.
And same way with the 2520. I got that Winchester 92. I really like to shoot it, but Remington is still loading for it. $89 a box of 50 was what it
Isn't
was.
that unbelievable?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the other day I picked up one of these.
Oh, yeah, a reloader. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about time. I've been saving all my brass. I don't reload currently. I don't reload anything currently. So
It's a lot of fun. You can either do it to save a little money, or you can do it to work up a really precision load. That shoots real. It's funny how different guns, shoot different. You can buy 3 of the same gun and try to put the same ammo in every one of them, and they'll all shoot different.
yeah, that's true. George, what's going on at RSA this week? Y'all just met last weekend, right?
Yeah, we met. We have a little change in leadership. We have new secretary of treasurer. Our old secretary of treasurer had some family issues and all that he had to address, and just didn't feel like he could handle them both. So we have a new secretary of treasurer. We have a new journal editor. That's we're really pleased with. We loved our old one. Roy Marco was our old our old editor and had it for years, but he stepped back a little bit, and we have a new editor. And
yeah, Jeff Edmond, he's doing a really good job.
He's doing a really, really good job. He brings a fresh look to it, and I guess even as good as you think you're doing, you can get a little bit stale. So he's bringing some fresh stuff to it, and we're happy about that. That's it. We do our journals come out quarterly, so we ought to be getting our second quarter right about now. They should be coming, and so a lot of good. We're really pleased with seeing a little uptick in membership. And I think this social media and a new website. We do have a new website that we're really, really happy with. If you go look at the RSA website, I think most everyone will like it, and it makes a big difference. That's what we're attributing it to. But we're working on some other things, trying to improve our application, our membership application, make it a little friendlier and easier to deal with.
Yeah.
As Mike well knows, you got to be changing all the time. You just got to be careful what changes you make. But
yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, how long have you been editor over there?
Well, I don't know exactly. About I'm going to say about 4 or 5 years. We had Richard Overall was our previous editor, and I'm telling you, I don't know how many years he was in there. I think he was probably pushing 20 years that he was the editor, but he just decided he was getting a little long in the tooth, and it was time to pass it off,
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed my time doing it.
Yeah, for anybody that's just joining us, Texas Gun Collectors Association has a show April 25th, 26th, and 27th at the Embassy Suites Hotel and Convention Center in Denton, Texas. So yeah, there on the screen, you can, there's a number to call. Let's see. Do you have to be a member to get into the show?
No, not at all. Not at all. We're open to the public. You do have to be a member in order to get a show table.
A table, right? Okay. And let's see. Down there at the bottom, $10 for adults under 16 is free with a parent.
We're also free to military and law enforcement. We have Texas Rangers at the show that kind of make sure everybody stays in line. Not that we really have any problems, but they keep an eye on things. And we are a CNR focused group, so we don't do any new guns. We don't do any black guns.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, about up to about 1975, I think, is currently where the CNR cutoff is. So, and we're open to all guns. We even let Remingtons in. So.
We sure do appreciate it. We are happy to be there. We are so happy to be. I tell you, he's right. There's no cotton candy, Barbie dolls, or puppy dogs in that show. It's all just wonderful, wonderful firearms. Just great.
If you're new to the collecting world, we've got some people that have been collecting for 50 years. Don't let that scare you, because they love talking about their collections. They love sharing, what they know. And if you're interested in what they're interested in, they will be a book of knowledge for you.
Yeah,
I think you just reflected that when you were giving Jeremy details on his Colt. That's the kind of information that these guys will share with you. They're happy to help you. Don't be intimidated. Step up and ask a question. They love sharing their knowledge.
Absolutely.
It's the most welcoming community you can get into.
Yeah, that's so true. And fair warning, there's some guys that they won't let you go. I mean, once they
Oh,
get
yeah.
started talking, they'll talk your ears
We
off.
know about that, don't we, George?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But you just grin and bear it when that happens, and be thankful that it's happening to you. Listen to
Yeah.
what they have to tell you.
You guys are right. It's a great community, and that's one of the neat things about joining organizations like Texas Gun Collectors Association and Remington Society of America is you forge relationships with people, and you learn so much. There's guys in both these groups that they're experts in their particular area of interest, and it's good to know guys like that. George, we were talking about it the other day. How important it is to know what you're looking at. When you're out looking at firearms, um, if you have the knowledge, you'll find stuff that other people will miss. And your Indian pistol revolver is a perfect example of that. There's a lot of people that would have looked at that firearm and not known what it was.
There's still a lot of people look at it, don't know what it is. But no, that's so true. If you have an interest in a particular item, I buy books and read.
I agree.
Have the book in one hand and have the gun in the other hand, and
Yeah.
it will become clear to you what they mean in the books when they tell you something. But and you few people can start off with the best there is. You just have to work your way up, and you're going to make some mistakes because you don't know. But you can certainly minimize that by reading and talking to these guys, these old hands at these shows, and listening to what they tell you, and letting them show you some things. And just you have to build a database so that you kind of know what you're doing.
Well, and
Yeah.
you can make a lot of friends by coming to the shows. I mean, I know people in Colorado, Virginia, Alabama, Arkansas, people that if it weren't for the show, I would have probably never met them.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful networking opportunity.
It really becomes a community, doesn't it? You see these guys, and you might not see them in between shows, but you see them at a show, and you get to visit and talk, and you find out about wives and kids and who's doing what and what they've gotten, and it's just wonderful. It is really fun.
Yeah. Brett Martinez in the chat. He said, "I've recently developed an interest in guns of the late 1800s."
Well, he's come to the right spot.
I'm
He
telling
sure
you.
has.
Yeah, there's
Hello.
great guns. Do you have any, Brett, that you've collected so far, or is there a particular brand that you're interested in? We like talking about stuff like that, for sure. George, did you see anything of interest while you were in Tulsa this year? Was there anything that kind of jumped out at you?
No, this little baby carbine, and otherwise, and I think Mike will echo this. You don't much get out of behind your table in Tulsa. That place becomes pretty close to a job when you're there. It's about like work, especially Saturday and Sunday when it's so full of people.
Oh,
you can't leave your table.
Well, and you really almost can't walk the aisles and see anything because the people are just elbow to elbow.
They really are. And the place is so huge, 2 levels, and that place is so big. And you're setting up and you're in there on Friday, but you really don't have room to get up and walk around very, very much. You certainly can't. I never have been. I don't think I've ever walked that whole show.
No, you can't. I mean,
No,
I think they said if you looked at every table over 2 days, you'd get 30 seconds per table.
I'm sure that's right.
I'm
sure that's right.
It's mind-boggling. How about you, Mike? Did you see anything of interest?
Oh, I always see interesting things, but
Yeah.
You know, I didn't come home with anything. Traded off a few things, and anyway, I'm kind of working a deal on a couple of other pieces that I hope comes to pass. But so I'm kind of hoarding my pennies right now.
Yeah, I understand. Brett says, I haven't collected anything yet, but I've been looking at the 1873 Springfield Cavalry Carbine.
That's a good one.
You could do worse than that. There's plenty of documentation out there on those guns. Good books, you can learn a lot, and they make wonderful collectibles. You learn about all the variations and what all, and I assure you there are variations. Your wife may think they all look just alike, but as a collector, you'll find out that's not true. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 73 Springfield Carbine. Yeah, that's a good choice. Real good choice. And they're out there too. They're out there too.
Well, and come to the spring show. I guarantee you there'll be some there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at, let me pull this picture back up so people can see. Yeah, there's some good guns sitting out there. For sure. Now, Mike, your main interest is it C prefix 1911s?
Correct. Well, that I'm gonna call a technicality on you.
Okay.
The 1911 actually refers to the military. It's Colt 1911, model 1911 of the Army, and so the civilian models are called government models, which, you know, you think, well, government model, that probably means military, but it doesn't. Those are the civilian ones. So 1911, 1911A1 are both military. And the civilian, the government model is the one I'm primarily interested in. They started off in 1912 with serial number C1, and then they went all the way up through 1949. And somewhere in the end of 1949, the beginning of 1950, they moved the C from in front of the serial number to the end of the serial number. So it became a C suffix. So the prefix guns are what I go after, and they actually quit making them in 1941 after Pearl Harbor, so that they could concentrate on the military contracts. And then they started making them again in 1945. There's some very interesting variations where they converted commercial guns into military guns to fill contracts. And then when the war was over, the government said, whatever parts you got, Colt, you can just have them. And so they converted the military guns into civilian guns. And so that process, you know, left certain marks and markings on the guns. And so those are relatively rare because the commercial to military, there were only 10,000 total. The military to commercial were only made in 1946.
Oh.
So pretty limited production on both of those.
Yeah.
I think that right there is a wonderful example of what you were talking about, Jeremy, about knowing what you're looking for. I guarantee you Mike didn't obtain all this knowledge overnight, and I bet he made some mistakes in between and learned and all that. But that's what you have to know to do that. But you can do it. Don't let that, any of you out there that's just starting, don't let that deter you. Just look at it like a great adventure and a learning and a chance to learn. And
absolutely, we were all young guys at one time, huh, George?
Yes, we were.
Jeremy, he's still young.
I'm on the fringe. I'm afraid. At least it feels that way in the morning.
I think I know the thing that has occurred to me over time, and I'll be interested to hear what Mike says. The the thing you start off collecting is probably not the thing you're going to end up collecting.
I agree. I
You'll
agree.
think when you start, this is all I'm ever going to mess with, like the Springfield. But by the time you will really lock into something if you stay with it long enough. And
I wish I could. I like them all.
Well, and I've threatened to write an article on collecting and the phases of collecting. You know, when we first start, we're what you call hunter gatherers, and then over the years you kind of refine till you actually become a real collector.
Yeah, there's a difference between a collector and a gatherer. And,
exactly.
George talked about that many times. You know.
Yes, that's one of my soapbox issues. Mike, we should get together. Somebody needs to write that. Because there is a article.
There are phases. There absolutely are phases that you go through.
And I remember hearing old collectors and guys over the years tell me, you need to buy the best gun you can afford. And I'm not sure that's true sometimes, but sometimes you buy a dog or two and you're going to learn a little something off of them.
Well, that's absolutely true. Yeah. From a financial standpoint, the better the gun, the better the condition, the more it's going to retain its value and go up in value.
Absolutely. I think the thing that gets a lot of guys when they're first starting is they want a bunch of guns, not just one gun. But
quantity over quality. Yeah.
And that will defeat you over time if you try to be a collector.
Well, one neat thing about collecting firearms, I think, is that as long as you buy them right, generally you're going to get your money back out of them. And
absolutely.
What I enjoy doing is buying a firearm and, learning about it. Like you were talking about, George, you can have it in your hands, you can look at it, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can read about it while you're looking at it. I mean, just being able to look at the actual physical gun while you're reading about some of the differences that you see is a neat thing. And then you can go out and shoot it and have fun with it. And if you get tired of it and you want to delve off into another area of interest, you can do that. But you do need to know what you're buying.
I remember there was an old man named John Kennedy that was here, and he owned a stockyard and a sale barn. He was a collector, and he told me one time, "Son, you make your money when you buy them, not when you sell them." So, and that's true.
It is.
Well, that's true of most anything, automobiles, real estate, So.
Yeah. Well, there's not many things that hold their value as well as firearms seem to over time, at least trend with inflation.
Right.
I would be interested if you guys noticed kind of how the prices were at Tulsa this year. I know the fall show, it looked like prices had come down a little bit on some stuff. Did you guys notice any price movement overall?
I didn't. The one thing that I did notice, and actually my wife noticed it and commented on it, she didn't see as many black guns walking in that show as there had been in the past.
Yeah.
A lot of shotguns and a lot of lever guns, interestingly, came through our area. But I didn't see as many of the other guns as I had in the past. I don't know how it was where you were, Mike.
Yeah, I didn't notice so much that prices had come down, but I did kind of notice that it was not as fast paced as I've seen it in the past. And I didn't get to go to the fall show, so it's been a year since I had been, and I just didn't see as much money changing hands. So I think maybe it has flattened a little bit. But that's usually a temporary thing.
I kind of wonder if man, it seems like just the past 10, 15 years, there's just been so many black guns, AR type guns out there that everybody's making one. And I mean, gosh, you can buy one for $300 now. And
Well,
I wonder if people are just kind of getting burned out on it. And maybe, we're getting into a generation that is more interested in wood and steel and maybe collecting some of these older guns.
well, if you if you like history, I mean, there's no better history than guns.
That's true.
They just scream history.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the early years, up in the Mohawk Valley, up there around Springfield and all that, the leading technology in this country came from the gun manufacturing industry. That's that's where production was refined and all that. It's true. It's true. I think the thing, and it's a little bit sad maybe with antique guns and older guns. You probably need to have some disposable income to get into that, and they can get costly. Just depending on, just don't try to start at the tip top, and you'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. Buy a house first.
Yeah, that's right. Buy a house first. Yeah, don't let these guns interfere with the groceries.
Yeah. JH586 is out there. He says, "Howdy, folks.
Hey.
Go check out his channel. He's a good dude." Really.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I see he's got the cross revolvers there, it looks like. Single actions, maybe?
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Have you been in the chat for a while? I'll pull up some stuff if you just jumped in. And Brett jumped back in and said, "I'm younger, but I am more into the guns with wood furniture." Well, there you go.
Awesome.
Good. Good.
Outstanding.
I'll tell you, I got involved in guns back when Fajan was still making stocks. And you talk about some beautiful wood. They came up with some gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I own some ARs and AKs and stuff like that, but I like the older guns, the history of them, and I don't know, they have a bit of soul to them and a story. You think about like that 1911 we were talking about. That thing's been around for over 100 years. Who knows where it's been? And they just seems like they really made stuff. They put a lot more fit and finishing into those things back then. I mean, like I was telling y'all, you picked that 1911 up. It's 100 years old, but it's probably tighter gun now than a new one is that you buy today.
Right. I'll tell you something else that's really nice about guns, and I know not every family is fortunate to have that, but heirloom type guns, guns that belong to your dad, guns that belong to your granddad, your great granddad, and have been handed down through the family. I'm fortunate enough to have an 1851 Colt Navy, 36 caliber percussion that was my great granddad's, and
Wow.
It's pretty rough condition, but it functions, and I'm really proud of it. I would never turn loose of it. Hope to pass it on, on to the next generation.
Yeah.
I'm always a little bit surprised when someone will come to the table or something like that, and they're selling a family gun. And
yeah, this was Dad's service gun, or this was Dad. Yeah.
And you really try to discourage them from doing that. Now, sometimes maybe they have to, but maybe it doesn't mean anything, but to them, but it kind of hurts to see that happen. You hate to see it.
It does. That's part of your family history.
It is. It is.
Yeah. And I've made that mistake early on. I sold a pistol that was my grandpa's, and man, I've regretted it ever since.
Right.
But it was a what was it? I think it was an old Colt police positive 32. What would that have been? I think it was in 32.
Probably was.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, 3220. Yeah, 3220. But at the time, it just wasn't something that I was really interested in, and hadn't been, into firearms that much at
That's
all.
what they make. That's what they make sock drawers for. You just
Yeah.
stick it back.
There is a chance, though. I mean, we live in a small town, so there's a chance that pistol will come back around. I've seen that happen before. More
Yes,
than
sir.
once.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see. Guns sometimes have a way of finding their way back home.
Absolutely.
A lot of stories about that. They sold dad's whatever, and 30 years later they ended up getting it back one way or another. So
right.
Well, guys, you have anything else that you want to get in before we kick off here?
Other than maybe just touching on the membership, the benefits of membership in TGCA. If I could run through a few of those real quick, maybe.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk about this. The big book.
Yeah.
The membership this year. I mean, that's worth the price of admission right there.
Oh, it is. And what you're actually looking at is an ad for the spring and the fall show that are coming up for 2025. But the little white rectangle with the percussion gun on there and the knife right below it, that's a 360 page full color coffee table book. It is something that you sit down and you don't really want to hold it in your lap. You want to sit down somewhere you can get comfortable and open that thing up. And I promise you, if you take the time to look at everything and read everything, it will take you several hours to go through that book. It is a wonderful book. It's $70, but with your $60 membership, you get the book free. So it's Do
you have one sitting there by you where you could show?
As a matter of fact,
some of the pictures in that thing, man, because
I'd have been disappointed if you didn't, Mike.
Yeah. This is, if I can get it, there's the front of it.
There you go.
And this is the back cover. It's engraved, factory engraved, gold inlaid. And I believe those are some Smith & Wessons. I wish I could find a carbine real quick, but for that gentleman that was on earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's $60 for the membership. You get the two magazines.
Yeah,
plus that big catalog. And
I wanted to show something, besides government models, so George wouldn't fuss at me.
Thank you. I'm not going to fuss at you.
So the book has got everything in it from single actions, black powder, percussion, flintlock. I mean, it's got all kinds of, and many of them are engraved. Some of them are famous guns like, Buffalo Bill's rifle, different things like that. So they're really amazing guns. Sometimes I guarantee you, when you come to the show and you see the parade of factory engraved Colts, you're going to see guns that you won't see anywhere else.
No.
But as a member, we've got a new directory coming out. We've got a new website coming up. You get discounts on hotel rooms if you stay at the show. We've got for table holders, we got a free lunch on Fridays. We have what we call the ladies' luncheon for the wives of the men that are out there collecting guns. They're maybe not interested in guns, so we give them something to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble talking my wife into going to a TGCA show. I can assure you.
Great.
JH586 says, yes, sir. Those are Smith & Wessons.
Yes, ma'am.
Good deal. JH,
Mike,
have you ever been?
inside the front cover of that magazine, is that pair of high-end Remingtons that Rock Island sold a few years ago? Is that where they pictured? Or
Yes, it is.
yeah, look at that.
Yeah, beautiful photos in there. Just
Yeah, got that old ugly ivory on there.
yeah.
Yeah, only $5,170,000
Is that all?
for a pair of Remingtons.
Not bad if you say it real fast.
That's
I'm
right.
trying to work myself up to that.
Yeah.
It's like that guy that traded the red paperclip, you know.
Yeah,
and
same deal. Same deal. Yeah, same deal.
Follow that.
Well, I can't let Mike get away with that without giving a plug to the
Get in there. Get on.
Remington Society. Our organization is not as big as the TGCA, and I want to say about the TGCA, and Mike can correct me on this, they're about the only gun collecting organization that is big enough and well enough managed that they actually can put on their own show.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, we were talking about that the other day.
That is quite a deal. That is quite a deal, and that is a ton of work. But the Remington Society is about all things Remington, and that covers anything from guns to knives to plows to sewing machines to cash registers to you name it. Remington made it at one time or another, and that's what we're all about. We have a quarterly journal, a really wonderful magazine, good knowledgeable folks that are willing to help you. If you have any interest at all in Remington and collecting Remingtons, go to our website, take a look at our website. If you want a free journal, get in touch with us. We'll send you a free copy so you can see what our journal looks like. And then if it's $45 a year to join, and kind of like them with their magazine, the cost of our magazine is probably costs us more than what a membership costs. So you get that.
It's not a new one, George, but
it's pretty recent though. There it is. There it is. Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely.
It's a great magazine. I got to tell you, I think between us and the TGCA, our magazines are just about the top of the pile. I don't think you're gonna find a collector's journal or magazine any better than ours. You're not gonna buy anything off a newsstand or anywhere else that'll come close to what these magazines will provide you.
These are not like,
they're not flimsy magazines that you buy off a magazine rack.
Absolutely.
The stock, the photos are beautiful, and the articles, they're written by guys they're just nuts about what they're writing about. You've got experts in each of these areas of interest, and man, if they're writing an article in one of these magazines, I guarantee you they breathe this stuff like air. So you're getting content that you're just not going to get it out of some of the other gun magazines, I'll say.
Well, we would certainly welcome you to look into the RSA, and I would encourage you to look into the TGCA too. You can't go wrong with either bit or both of them. It's if you're interested in collecting and learning, I don't think there's a better place to start. No,
definitely good value for your money. You're going to meet a lot of really great guys and gals. I'm proud to be a member of both organizations, and they work well together as well. It's not like they're competing against each other; they're helping each other out, and that's a wonderful thing. JH586 says, I hear Rock Island Auction Company is having a sale in Texas this coming May. The on-screen Winchester 73 used by Jimmy Stewart in the movie is up for auction. Any truth to that? I haven't heard that. That sounds pretty cool.
I think there is some truth to that.
I do believe that's true. I know for sure that Rock Island is having an auction in May. I believe it's May 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Maybe it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Anyway, they're now in Bedford, Texas, which is right in between Dallas and Fort Worth. And yeah, I'm going to say it again, George. We have been fortunate enough that Rock Island is making an offer to any TGCA members that they will furnish hotel rooms if you come to their premier auction.
Wow.
So it is a wonderful benefit of membership, and it's an awesome thing for Rock Island to do for the club.
It really is. And if you've never attended an auction, this is the best you'll ever do. This is the best opportunity you'll have is to go and attend and see what goes on there. It'll blow your mind, man.
And it's a fantastic facility. They will allow you to hold the guns, to look at the guns before the auction starts, to decide what you want to bid on, and
look at
it's really nice.
$150,000 to $325,000
is what they're estimating. Yeah,
that's on a 1 of 1,000. Yeah, I'm sure that's right.
That is wild. Let's open this up. Take a look at it.
Whew.
Man alive. Huh. Well, I'll be darned. Yeah, and they got pictures of him on set. That's a neat movie. I'm gonna probably have to get out and watch it now.
I don't know how realistic it is, but it is a good movie to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Well, that's cool.
You're talking about I'll never have anything like that. No, well, you may. I don't think there's a gun collector out there anywhere that doesn't dream of finding one in a barn somewhere. They're still out there. They're still out there.
Yeah. JH says he thinks their estimate's low. Maybe.
Who knows?
That might be one that goes. I mean, you find the right guy that's got deep enough pockets, it can
do it.
Sells for $1 million. Who knows? Well, there's probably somebody out there that is dead set on getting that thing.
Oh, I'm sure. And
how many of them have that feeling, and
I'll tell you, there's a lot of collectors in other countries that man, if it comes to something cowboy,
yeah,
they're all over it. I mean, that to them, that is the ultimate.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, fellas, we hit about an hour. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a great conversation as always. Everybody, if you can make it down to the Texas Gun Collectors Association show, 24th, 25th, and 26th of this month.
Correct.
Yeah. Get down there and check it out. If you're into wood and steel, that's about the best place you're going to be. So mosey on down to Denton, Texas, and join the TGCA and join RSA. They're both great organizations. I'm proud to be a member of both of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For the price of membership, you get a whole lot more back than what you pay for.
You sure do. You sure do.
Not just the magazines, but you're going to build some friendships over there, and the knowledge base in both those organizations. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to somebody in one of those organizations, and man, they know. And if they don't, they know somebody that does. So, yeah, good place to hang out. And folks, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your support. Like I said, go join those. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. And God bless you and your families. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jeremy.
See you
So
over
long,
there.
George.
Good enough, buddy.